conversation in the gym.
Because my dog was on my lap.
We'll have a conversation in the gym.
Why? I
Grab
didn't
your
catch
stuff and come with me, ma'am. I'm not going to ask you again. Just grab your stuff and come with me.
You're kicking me off. You're going to put me on another plane.
Ma'am, I need you to get your
Oh,
stuff.
no. Honey, we're about to fight this. Because I didn't do anything to you guys to make me 12 hours late to my destination.
This way.
My dog was sitting on my lap. I put him in the bag. He's in the
Don't worry
bag.
about it. I'm going to refund your ticket. You can call Southwest. Let's go. Bye.
Because you couldn't let my dog sit on my lap.
Let's go.
You. All of you. I am. Shut the
Hey,
Turn your phone off.
Who did she hit with
Why is he recording me?
Because anybody can record
Yeah.
anything.
Oh,
You just struck a passenger.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, that's fine. You talk to APD with
You.
no problem, man. Who did she just strike with the bottle?
The guy that's recording me with his cell phone, that's who I threw it at.
Ma'am, calm down.
You asked. I'm telling you. Calm down. You guys have been nothing but rude. That's fine that you guys are rude, but I need to calm down.
There's rules.
There's rules, and I followed them, and I put him in there. And you guys still drove up.
Nobody acting this way flies on a flight with us.
Okay, you.
Okay.
Get out of my way.
Well, I want to find out. Ma'am, hold on.
You told me to get off your plane, then get the out of my way.
Is this your bag, man? Is this your bag? Was anybody hit back there with that
Yes, that's
bottle?
why I gotta go find out.
Alright.
Why are they recording me?
That's their right.
That's their right. And it's my right to tell them to stop.
Not throw anything at anybody. Billy,
Ew.
you called APD?
Yeah.
All right, let me find out who was struck. I'm sorry. Lift off.
To Kachuk. Boris Kachuk around forward. Boris scores! Boris Kachuk's finest play of the season. And the Hawks go up 4-3.
Well, it's a fourth line again, but this is all Boris Kachuk. One-on-one, it's an inside-outside move, and with all kinds of speed, he goes top corner on Ullmark. Beautiful shot, but it's the move at the blue line. Not only makes the move with the hands, but he keeps the feet moving. Absolutely undresses the Boston defenseman. And yeah, Boris, take a look on the Jumbotron. That was a beautiful goal.
That was pretty. Boris Kachuk has his first career three-point night. A goal tacked on by 2 assists.
get to the point where you're struggling to get up all the stairs, and now I find I can run up the stairs.
This video is very applicable to anyone with a problem with their bladder, whether it's urinary urgency, okay, leaky bladder, incomplete urination or frequent urination, or you get up several times at night. This video is for you. And unfortunately, when you do a Google search on this topic, you're going to find pure trash, okay? All of these sites that you go to say almost the exact same thing. And what they do is they just hire search engine optimization people, SEO people, to write articles. These people have no experience, but they just get the keywords and they create articles and then they rank on Google. So it's extremely difficult to find anything valuable on Google related to health information, especially the bladder. And unless you know what to search for and some possible links, it's very, very difficult. I have the advantage of have been in practice for 30 years, so I've seen things that I would never have connected the dots unless I had that practical experience. So when we talk about the urinary bladder, we're talking about a muscle that stores urine and releases urine. So we have this muscle that surrounds your bladder, okay? It's called the detrusor muscle. And if we look at the common thread to all these bladder problems, it's actually a problem with the nervous system. I'm going to explain why. We have a valvular system that's controlled, and that also involves smooth muscle as well as the neurological supply. And the main control with urine elimination really stems from your brain. It's called periaqueductal gray matter. Not that you need to know that, but there's a part of the brain that is in control of this bladder, okay, and it connects to the nervous system. And this part of the brain is very vulnerable and sensitive to a thiamine deficiency, a B1 deficiency. In fact, other parts of the autonomic nervous system that's involved with this bladder control are also very vulnerable to vitamin B1 deficiencies. I found some fascinating information which I share down below in the description on the link, the very strong link between a B1 deficiency and your bladder problem that you're having right now. Whether the bladder is overworking or underworking, B1 seems to be the common thread. And this also makes sense if you look at a diabetic, right? When we're talking about diabetes type 2, there's like 50 to 70% of those people who have bladder problems. Now, if you watched some of my other videos, you saw this huge connection between diabetes and peripheral neuropathy problems. Okay, I'm talking about the numbness at the bottom of the feet or the pain at the bottom of the feet relates to a B1 deficiency. I've done other videos on diabetics having just general problems with their autonomic nervous system, and there's a name for that, diabetic autonomic neuropathy. So anytime you have a problem with neuropathies, like nerve problems, you really want to look at this B1 because there's a huge connection. B1 is involved in the myelin sheath production around the nerve, and B1 is also necessary for the production of energy, especially if it's from carbohydrates or glucose. And so the more carbohydrates or glucose that are used by the body, okay, the more B1 is needed. Now, a B1 deficiency in the brain can even starve off the energies of certain neurons in the brain and cause a lack of function in those brain neurons. As in this case, that part of the brain that controls the bladder actually is shrinking and you're losing function of the entire control system. And this can be a very common thing when we age, especially if someone's a diabetic, a pre-diabetic, or they have chronic insulin resistance, which is very common. It's like 60 to 70% of the population. And this is another reason why so many people get so much relief when they start to cut the carbs out of the diet, and relief with bladder issues. So it is true that your bladder problems could be coming from, let's say, a prostate enlargement or a prolapsed bladder if you're a female, or you have this infection in your bladder, or of course you're drinking way too much water before you go to bed, or you have, I don't know, fibroid, whatever. All of these are valid, but there's something a lot more common involved in all of these bladder issues, and that is a B1 deficiency. And if you don't know that, okay, you may end up at the doctor's office getting more medication, maybe a surgery, and not fully fixing this problem. So here are some simple things you can do. You need to first correct the B1 deficiency, and I would recommend correcting it with 2 different types of B1. One is a fat-soluble B1 called benfotiamine, and 2 is a natural water-soluble regular B1, but you want to make sure it's natural, not synthetic. And I would take both of these remedies for about 2 to 3 months, okay? Because if you are very, very deficient, it's going to take a while to build up. But for most people, they should start seeing improvement within the first 2 weeks. Now, number 2, you want to stop the depleting of B1. There's many things that can deplete B1, but the most common thing is a high-carb diet. So you need to get on a low-carb diet, okay? And that also includes doing intermittent fasting. Now, the next thing you can do, which I highly recommend, is based on this. You have 2 types of receptors in the bladder, okay, for urine. You have mechanical receptors, which involve pressure or volume of urine, okay? But you also have chemoreceptors, which involve the concentration of urine. So, for example, if you don't have a lot of urine because maybe you're not drinking a lot, your urine can be very, very concentrated, and despite having a lot of urine, you might just need to go. Yet when you go, not a lot comes out. So just by drinking enough fluid through the day, and I'm talking about like 2.5 liters of fluid, not past 6 or 7 o'clock at night, okay, you can dilute the urine to the point where the need for urination is less at night. And you can also try that as well. In addition to drinking this extra water, you may also benefit from adding apple cider vinegar to your water. Why? Because apple cider vinegar can greatly help your blood sugars, okay? Especially if you have insulin resistance. I've done a lot of videos on this. Apple cider vinegar is like a real simple thing to do. You put 1 to 2 tablespoons in your water when you drink it, and it can greatly help your blood sugars. And then you might find, based on how much caffeine you consume, is to reduce the caffeine beverages to maybe a small cup of coffee in the morning, but not a lot of coffee that has caffeine, because the caffeine can really affect your bladder in a big way. And just by reducing your caffeine, that can make a huge difference. Now, the last thing I would recommend is to manually massage the bladder. Okay, why? Because your bladder over time can be congested, it could be atrophied, and if you press into your bladder within your tolerance and just kind of massage around that area, and then you might find that you need to urinate right after that. I used to recommend this in practice, and it really helped stimulate the bladder to actually get more tone into the bladder and to help push out some of the residual urine that could be potentially sitting in your bladder for too long. Now, there are many other things that can cause a B1 deficiency beyond just sugar and carbs, okay? And I really highly recommend that you watch this video on that topic right here.
Amazon business owner.
Nobody on television means more to me than our first guest, and nobody hates hearing that more either. He is a 40-foot-tall giant among men who joins two legendary musicians in Ireland just in time for St. Patrick's Day. Bono and The Edge, A Sort of Homecoming with Dave Letterman, premieres Friday on Disney+. Please welcome David Letterman.
That was very, very nice. Thank you very much. Thank you. And James, thank you. And it's just great to see your mother and father. That's delightful.
Yeah, my mother and father. My mother, actually, when I was 16 for my birthday, she made me a late night with David Letterman cake.
Yes, I think I've heard that story.
Yeah. So this is big for all of us.
That's where the trouble began. So I'm walking into this fabulous, is this the old Tommy Lasorda Theater?
Yes.
It's beautiful. And on either side of the wall must be 100 photos of myself and you.
Yeah.
And at first I thought, well, that's very nice. I'm touched. And the more I saw it and the more I understood what was going on, I actually was sickened. It just seemed like there's pathology at work here. And it all started with the cake on the 16th.
It all started with the cake, yeah. I know how you love to see pictures of yourself, and I know how you love attention.
It was very unpleasant. But this facility is the nicest. For example, the dressing room. I have never been in a dressing room that nice. If you were on any of my productions, the dressing rooms were all built as WPA projects after the Depression. But I could live back there.
You're welcome to do that. I mean, and by the way, you're totally right. The dressing rooms at the Ed Sullivan.
I mean, everybody I meet is a family member, so I would fit right in. Because, as you know, I've always thought of you as Dave Jr.
Oh boy, don't just say that because. Oh, every hair on my body is standing up right now.
Oh, I don't want to know that.
I know you love Hollywood.
I spent the day Googling symptoms.
Did you? Are you okay?
According to the internet, I am. Listen, a good friend of mine, I think you know him, George Miller, passed away, one of my very close friends. When I first came to California, George took me aside and he said, Dave, I want you to know something. In Hollywood, Oscar is king. and truer words have never been spoken. And so now you hosting the Academy Awards for a third time. And this was a sensational moment for the country and the network and yourself. You know what this makes you, don't you?
No.
You are the Prince of Hollywood.
Wow. That's exciting. I mean, that's very kind of you to say, but if you're, but I'm not giving up Dave Jr. I'm sticking with that.
Here's how a lot of people ask me, Dave, how do you feel about, well, here's how I feel about award shows, Jim.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
It makes sense. Yes, it does make sense.
Now let's get into it.
Okay, yeah,
First
sure.
of all, congratulations because you resurrected this carcass. And the network and the Academy ought to be very grateful. Nice going.
Undeserved, but I will take
No,
that.
it's
Thank
not
you.
undeserved because when I hosted it, and I don't even know how long ago it's been, but it was such a bomb. The Academy thought maybe it had been terrorists.
It's not true.
It's absolutely true.
It is not true.
Yeah. So now the Cocaine Bear.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Here was one of my moments that I truly enjoyed. Malala
Yeah.
and the Cocaine Bear.
Yeah.
And you have to caution Cocaine Bear. Cocaine Bear, leave Malala alone.
Why should you use Miro? Well, when you draw on a whiteboard, no one sees it. With Miro, you plan together in real time for literally every...
He was sniffing Malala, yeah.
He was sniffing Malala.
You can't sniff Malala. It's not nice.
Yeah, and then I hear that, let's wait and find out who is in the Cocaine Bear suit.
Mm-hmm.
And then we find out, and I know for a fact that that's a lie. I know it wasn't Jazzy Jeff.
It was.
No.
It was DJ Jazzy
No,
Jeff.
it wasn't.
Did you see him?
Yeah, but it could have been me. Why wasn't it me?
It could have been you.
It was me.
It definitely could have been you.
It was me.
You interviewed Malala some time ago. I love watching your interviews. I really.
Oh, you're very kind.
I
James. Thank you.
really do, and I love. Do you enjoy doing what we might call a serious interview more than you would say interviewing a Richard Simmons?
I want to tell you something. Every interview I had with Richard Simmons was deadly serious. You know what it is? I just like talking to people. I find that I'm ignorant on most topics, and as a result, I have great curiosity. And that's why I want to talk to you about your experience hosting the Academy Awards.
Okay.
And I know,
Oh, sure. All right.
at a certain point in time, you'll get tired of this.
Okay.
But like parties, did you go to parties after?
We did. We went.
When you
to,
say we, who was we?
My wife and I. We had the governor's ball, which is
Now, that's not the governor of California.
not the governor of California.
The governor of show business.
Many people think it is the governor of California, but no, this governing board of the Academy. They have a dinner next door. So we went to that. We stayed for
Well, how
a
was
little
the
while.
chow?
I had a pot pie that Wolfgang Puck made, and it was pretty good. I'll tell you that.
Now, let's find out if everybody agrees with me. Pot pie, without a doubt, 100% of the time, you burn the roof of your mouth.
I was good. I was okay. And then we went to, my wife and I, we went to the Olive Garden afterwards. And we had a ravioli Alfredo over there, and we headed right home. I had to work the next day, so there wasn't a lot of going
Well,
out.
you are, I mean, good Lord, the preparation for that show is endless, and then you come right back and you do your nightly program, and this is not an easy show to do unless everybody in the audience is a family member. Then it's much easier.
Kind of the opposite, really. Did you, on the night after you hosted the Oscars, did you go back to New York and do your show the next night?
No, we got on a plane and flew back to New York, got on another plane and flew to London, preparing for a week of shows we were to do in London.
Now, see, that's too much.
Yeah, it was too much. The whole thing was too much.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, they had to shut down. The show was so bad that the Academy got together and they said, we can never let this happen again. And so they shut down the film industry for 1 year.
They did?
1 year. Yeah.
They shut the whole industry down.
Everything.
Ruining the Oscars that followed as well.
That's right. Yeah. Did you have fun at the party? People must have been all over.
No, it's terrible. It's it's terrible. It's a lot of people asking for my phone number. Yeah.
Did Meryl Streep win something?
She did not. She wasn't nominated this year. Yeah.
Was not nominated.
No.
But I thought she was winning even without the nomination.
Sometimes they just they just toss one onto her lawn as they drive by.
You mean the Academy Awards van drives by?
There is a van.
Here's one for you. Now, here's something that made me
were saying before, maybe he didn't feel like he was going to win, so he didn't want to come.
Yes, but it's between you and me, he should have been there, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. He's the Prince of Hollywood.
But more to the power of your success, if Mr. Big Shot is not there, and still the show has never been more successful. Nice going, Jimmy.
Thank you. I did it without Jeff. David Letterman is here. We'll be right back.
The Equinox RS can keep you connected.
Alexa, remove chips from my shopping list.
So here we have The Edge. Yeah. Bono. Then we have Adam. Then we have Larry.
When you hear what their original village names were, you would understand why they didn't run with them. Larry's was known as the Jam Jar.
The Jam Jar.
Adam was Mrs. Burns.
The bass player is called Mrs. Burns.
Yeah.
Hey, we got spirit, we got soul, my brothers and I are out of control.
That is Bono and the Edge of Sort of Homecoming with Dave Letterman. It is on Disney Plus, premiering Friday, St. Patrick's Day. That's fun. Well, I don't know. Maybe that isn't fun. It's hard to tell if you have fun or not. Do you have fun? Did you have fun?
Well, it's work, and luckily, usually with this kind of work, you do have fun. I can't speak for you tonight, but I'm having fun.
Good, I'm glad.
But I will say, having seen this, it's turned into a film, and it's like an hour and a half long, and really there's so much going on, but the best part is the music. And that's really the reason to enjoy it.
The music is great, and the stories are great, and just you being in Dublin, where you'd never been before.
Never been to Dublin. Have you been to Ireland?
I have not, no. I'd love to go, but I've not been. And to be there with these guys who are really very special people, Bono and the Edge.
I want to tell you something. There's a lot of people in rock and roll music, and a lot of people writing rock and roll music, and the definition rock and roll music, pretty broad. It's along the horizon. It's endless. These guys are existing and performing and creating at a different level. And when you spend time with them, you get to appreciate that they're not just another song that you may be hearing somewhere. This is something different. And to me, that was a thrill and also intimidating. And Bono and The Edge, wildly smart guys.
Very smart guys, and really...
You spent time with them, right?
Well, we've had them here on the show, yeah, and I love them, I really do. I mean, this is for me, that you and them is like, it's as if you made this specifically for me, which I know you didn't, but one of the things that I thought just...
We know we did.
Great. Was after the show, after the concert, you introduced me in front of their hometown crowd, which is great. You guys go to a bar, pub, as they call them, and everybody is singing along in the pub. Except for there was one person not singing. I'll see if you can guess who that person not singing.
I was so worried about this because I knew that you go to a pub and everybody is full of Guinness and sing along because you've got Bono and the Edge and then like a half a dozen really great, talented Irish musicians performing in a way you're not going to hear them perform.
Yeah.
So sing along and a lot of this, and I just at one point I found myself with a camera like about here, and I thought, oh. So I just started doing
this. Do you ever sing along? Do you ever sing?
No, it was something. I can remember going to church with my parents, and anybody?
Yeah, sure.
A lot of it is hymns, and I would fake singing, and periodically a woman my mother's age, not my mother, but a woman my mother's age who should have known better and should have minded her own business would say, "Well, you're not singing at all, young man." And then we would have to cut her tires.
Yeah.
It doesn't come naturally, but God, what an experience that night was.
What about sitting there with Bono and with Edge, and they've written a song for you?
Oh my God.
About you.
Yeah.
Somewhat. Although I read the lyrics, it doesn't seem to really be about you, to be honest. But they're singing.
Thank you for being honest.
They're singing to you. And I can't imagine any situation.
Has anyone ever written a song for you?
No.
Yeah, nor I.
Yeah.
And we're in this place called the March Library. It's like from the 16th century, and there's books the size of this chair, and it's huge. It's well regarded academically, and it's freezing. It was very, very cold in there. So the Edge and Bonham, and they come in, and Edge says, I was up till 3 o'clock last night writing this song. And I thought, oh, be darned. Hoping that'd be the end of it. They start getting out sheet music, and the band, everybody's got an arrangement, and they're singing this song that the night before they have created. And I'm thinking two things. Oh, I hope this goes away. and secondly, I'm thinking, oh my God, this is not bad. So it turns out to be a real deal. And if you're going to have, and these guys aren't kidding around writing songs.
Do you think if you had people sing to you more, you would become more comfortable with it? Like,
yes, I do, Jimmy, and I'm going to pursue that.
I've got my guitar here, and
Well, how are you when people sing to you?
Hate it. Don't like it at all. It doesn't matter how nice it is or how beautiful it sounds. Yep. It just makes me want to crawl under the table.
That's right. Same with me. And I don't like it when people sort of coerce you into everybody. I don't. I'm not everybody. No,
have you looked into this? Why you are unable to enjoy moments like that? Have you explored?
Do I seem like I have any self-introspection?
Yes.
No, I've not looked into anything, frankly. Life's too short, isn't
when
it?
you're here in Hollywood, as we call it, do you ever get the urge to drive down the block to the Comedy Store where you worked for so long as a young man, where you did stand up with your friends and get up on stage there and do a set?
No.
Not at all.
I was never really a stand-up comedian. I did stand-up comedy because I knew to be on The Tonight Show, which was my reason for leaving Indiana, was you'd have to do some stand-up comedy. Because they're not going to put you on because, hey, I understand this kid just moved from Indiana. Here he is. So that's all I could do. And when I would go on the road, did you have done?
Never.
Not done. Yeah. I found that every afternoon you'd be in any town, any college town in the United States. I remember one time they'd always send a guy, the president of the student body, to pick you up at the airport. Mm-hmm. So you fly all night, and you're half grog, get off the plane, the guy picks you up, and he wants to talk, and I don't want to talk, and I'm in the back seat, and I look in the rearview mirror, and I see the guy driving. Yeah, because he's been out drinking all night, and he gets to go pick up. Sorry, Mom. So I asked him to pull over, and I had to drive myself from the airport to the gig. So a little of that goes a long way.
Well, it is a thrill to have you here. I'm not going to...
Thank you very much. I know I had to ask to be on this show, and that's impolite.
It's
and
not.
This man, in his lifetime, in his career that I've known him, has been so kind to me, and the people who work with him are equally kind, if not